Okay, so hi there. Today we're going to be talking about how to manage your emotional reactivity as an HSP. So in this video, I'm going to tell you why you may be becoming emotionally reactive and ways to cope if you are. So emotional reactivity is when your feelings bubble up inside of you and it gets harder and harder to control. Here's my personal take on why that happens and how you can cope. So first things first, if you're in public and you are starting to feel this way, remember to respond and not to react. Responding and reacting may seem like similar, but there's just one key difference, and it's taking a pause. So reacting is letting yourself be driven by your emotions. It's similar to a child throwing a tantrum in public. They just can't help but be so swayed by their strong emotions. Meanwhile, responding requires some rational thought. It requires you to put your emotions on a shelf to be examined for later, and then composing yourself and giving an appropriate adult response to the situation. So feelings and emotions are important to help us know when a boundary is crossed or when we're in danger so that we can act appropriately. But if it's none of those things and it's simply that the situation triggered your past traumas or something like that, then it's important to just put a pin on your emotions and let yourself feel them later on, as opposed to being carried away in the moment. So number 2, determine if there's anything wrong with your body. Are you hungry? Do you lack sleep? Or is there any other illness or medication that's making you more sensitive than usual? So HSPs are more sensitive to bodily imbalances than most people. So with me personally, whenever I get hyperacidity, the feeling of it constricting my chest kind of triggers my brain to catastrophizing and overthinking, and because the feelings are quite similar. So ever since I gained awareness of how most of my feelings are because of some bodily irritation or inflammation, I'm better able to address the root cause and to control my emotions more.
So as a side note, I've also stopped eating pork because after I eat it, I notice the effects instantly. I get bloated and easily frustrated and even angry. And another benefit of not eating it anymore is that my periods have become so pleasant and I no longer get dysmenorrhea on my time of the month. So maybe you can test it out yourself if it'll help you feel much better on your bread days.
So maybe most of your emotional reactivity is because of discomforts in your body. So make sure that your body is alkalinized, well fed with a healthy microbiome, and that you get plenty of sleep and exercise. So number 3, watch out for your environment and the people you're with. The emotions you feel could just be projections from others. Being HSPs, we also tend to be empaths that take on the energy of those around us. Sometimes when I'm in crowds, I get anxiety attacks, probably from overstimulation. There were other times though wherein there was this specific person and I just felt a heaviness from that person that I could not help but sob whenever I was in their presence for too long. And I have a big feeling that it's because they themselves have repressed sadness. I felt like the sadness they were unable to express got channeled through me. I know of a fellow empath who had her first narcissistic encounter, and ever since then she's been feeling unlovable, worthless, and like she can't shake off this person, when in the past it would be very easy for her to shake off the people who've wronged her. I told her that it's very likely she absorbed the subconscious feelings of the narcissist because they themselves feel utterly worthless within themselves, and they mask it so well with their fake self-image and the way they treat others badly. So whenever a feeling seems to be like it's not yours, like it's misplaced somehow, simply bring it to your awareness. And what I like to do is, whenever I do this, I say like, hey, I see you, you're not mine, can you just get away from me, go back to where you belong. And it's like you're kindly letting it back out of your system. And then I sigh and just let it go. So a lot of different breathing techniques can help you with emotional reactivity as well. You just have to search them. So number 4, if you've repressed your emotions for so long, it could be that your body is trying to compensate and it's all exploding now. It's all catching up to you and exploding. I wasn't allowed to cry or be angry as a kid, so most of my life I've been repressing these emotions. But emotions are meant to be expressed and they're meant to be felt, or else they start rotting within you cause an avalanche of emotions when you become stressed too long and can't take it anymore. So I used to be able to express myself through my art, but then in college, I was studying something that I hated and I didn't have any more time for my art, and I was repressing my sadness from not being able to be creative anymore, and my emotions just kept on stewing. If it isn't possibly anyone else's feelings, it could be your shadow telling you something. The harmless things that you can't accept in others might be the same things that you have a hard time accepting in yourself. So for example, when I was becoming really repressed in college, I had so much envy for the other people who could so easily be in touch with their emotions and not be afraid to share it with others, because I had deep shame around being emotional because in my own household it was punished. That's when I started to have a jealousy for others who could do the things that I couldn't, which was to be expressive. But this all culminated in 2019 when I had a very traumatic experience, and after that, in 2020, I would cry like every other day because I finally realized that I was carrying so much pain in my body from being raised by a narcissist. And finally, I just felt like letting it all out. Like, even if I was at work, I would find a private place to cry for a little while. And good thing I also had really understanding workmates at that time. So during times when I was alone, I would express my anger and my grief by taking my harness and just hitting trees and screaming in a private place on my own. So talk to a therapist. Go somewhere private and scream, throw unused glass or ceramics, or go for an intense run, or try out martial arts. Anything to get you feeling your intense emotions and to get them out. I also recommend letting it out to the people who've caused the anger or the grief, if it's safe for you to do so. If not, then just write a private letter to them detailing what they did, how it made you feel, and what you wish they did differently instead. This is something I've learned from a therapy app. It recommended for me to do this activity, and I think it's helped a considerable amount. So yeah, there are plenty of resources on the internet to help you release your emotions, but I promise you it does go away and get better with time, as long as you acknowledge, validate, and allow yourself to express these things and no longer have shame for being the human that you are. So, to summarize, respond, don't react. Determine if there's anything wrong with you physically. Check your environment if there is a certain person or a certain energy of the place that's making you feel a certain way, and just acknowledge that feeling and let it go. And fourth, when you're emotionally reactive because of repressed feelings, allow yourself to express it all in a safe place. And always remember that feelings are only temporary. Thank you so much for watching this video, and leave a like if it did help you. It would really help me to know that this video was useful to you. And yeah, see you in the next video. Bye bye.